Starship Troopers, Terran Command. Would you like to know more? So, Starship Troopers, Terran Command, coming out on the 16th of June. Developed by the Aristocrats, and of course published by Slitherine, who are well known for their war games. This is a real-time strategy game that takes out some of the micromanagement of resource gathering and developing bases, simplifies it down, focuses more on the combat, focuses on a lot of other really cool things too. So the main thing about Terran Command is that your soldiers can't shoot over each other. So that means if you have a squad in front of another squad, they cannot shoot through them. So it is essential that you line your troops, position your troops in such a way that they're going to be able to get the optimal fields of fire without getting in each other's way and overall reducing your effectiveness. I'm going to show you a couple of these bits and pieces right now. I'm going to actually play one of the scenarios. Let's see, it's one a good one. So I love the fact that these start with these FedNet.
With the size of the bug problem now clear, immediate action is needed.
Transmissions.
The mobile infantry moves into gear to protect Kwalasha, its mines, and its people.
So first of all, moving around the environment uses the arrow keys. WASD doesn't work these for hotkeys for various troops, but also you can, of course, just move your mouse around for that business. So we have two rifle troopers right here, and as you can see, if I gather them both together, and you can see on the sort of the template on the ground, it'll show you where those troops are going to move themselves out. So as just a standard issue situation, the troopers will always try to position themselves in such a way that they will be able to get lines of fire on potential enemy targets. They will do this automatically, and as you can see, as I pan my cursor around, it'll take in consideration the terrain and try to position the troops as best as the game possibly can. Combat move is an extremely useful technique to use those. That's control right click, and that allows you to basically allow the troopers to
take down those bugs,
shoot anything they see, such as these bugs, whilst they're moving to position. And as you saw, their little reticule came up above these troopers' heads. Those reticules effectively are showing the number of troops that can get a target lock, so to speak. So, oh dear, these troops are about to die. Uh-oh, no, I'm killing the civilians. This is bad. Come on, run, damn it. Yeah, the arachnids are faster than us by a significant margin. Yeah, basically, the reticule will denote if you can get a target on someone.
Get another squad dropped on this position. We're going to need all the help we can get.
And whether or not the color will just denote how many troops can actually see and get a good positive line of sight. So green is everyone can fire, yellow is some of them can fire, and red is none of them can fire. Right. On the move. So these radio stations are the bases, and later on in later campaign missions, you'll be able to develop these bases, bring in extra resources, which ultimately allow you to get in extra troops. So resources are done a couple of ways. First of all, during the campaign, you can find supply depots, which will increase your overall supplies. You can also be given more supplies by Terran Command. And lastly, you can find erroneous supplies around the place just as extra secondary objectives to gather if you so desire. But ultimately, standing by. Whenever you want to bring in troops, there will be these landing zones here, and the number of dropships available will denote how many dropships can be in use at any one given time. So dropships are basically a hard cap on how many troops you can bring in or take out of the theater of combat, and also use dropships to move troops around with dropship transport. So you can click here, for example, click on one location, find another landing zone or landing pad, click that location, like for example, this is in line of sight, and we'll be able to take our troops over there. So there's a lot of movement, actually, a lot of capability that you have to move troops from one area to the other, using the dropships and other mechanics. Let's bring in some more troops, though, as the game asks us to.
We don't have enough supply capacity, sir.
Bugs inbound. Find a firing position, people. Use the high ground.
So I'm going to get my troops move over here. Now I'm going to take the opportunity to maneuver these people by hand. Because I just want to basically use my own intelligence to get these guys in optimal firing positions. And as you can see again, these reticles are green, which means they are able to see all of the arachnids. So high ground and low ground play a massive part in this game as well. High ground give you a longer line of sight, which means you can see more of the enemy before they see you. And also you can shoot over the heads of other troopers who are on the low ground, so allowing you for multiple fields of covering fire. Extremely useful, very helpful to note, and does play a massive part in the strategy that you develop. So we're going to move forward using combat move. And we're going to do exactly as our commanding officer tells us. Go and take out these bug holes. For the record, the graphics are absolutely fantastic in this game. They look fabulous. The animations are great. The arachnids look absolutely authentic. The whole thing just feels, lives, breathes, and dies Starship Troopers, and is so, so good to see. I love the aesthetic of this game. It is fabulous. Also, the voice acting is second on as well. Should be mentioned. The voice acting is excellent in this. Also, I love the little bits of chitinous armor coming off of the warrior forms. Just again, just feels just so authentic to the movies. Just everything I've seen from Starship Troopers is great. Music isn't half bad either, actually. I wasn't a huge fan of it at first, but it's a dynamic soundtrack, so effectively, as more things happen, as things ramp up in tension, the music will dynamically alter itself accordingly to that, and that is just fantastic. So we're getting close to this bug hole here, this bug hive. We're basically goading them out, depleting the population. And once the population is depleted, we'll send a squad in to clear it out. And you see they're now depleted, so this red bar here.
The bugs are down. Get a squad in that bug hole to seal it up. They're going to take some casualties, but that's what we're here for.
The red bar here denotes when the next set of reinforcements is going to come out the bug hole. So again, it is imperative we get in there quickly and clear out the hive. And this denies the enemy resources. It's basically effectively taking an enemy base.
Orders are to expand your foothold in the sector. Capture the local radio stations to use them as staging points for operations to take out arachnid colonies.
So overall, I've been absolutely blown away by the presentation of this game so far. I really, honestly, I didn't know what to expect. I expected a moderately competent RTS. What I found here, though, is a fabulously authentic, just Starship Troopers experience. Now, again, I've not played the original games. I've not played any of the other media that came out. Terran Ascendancy, I think, was another RTS game that came out a while ago for the Starship Troopers franchise, but I haven't played that. But for what I can see of my experience with RTS strategy games, this is honestly my preferred. I don't always enjoy that micromanagement of resources. I prefer the micromanagement of troops in combat, and to me, this does that quite well. The other thing as well is terrain makes a massive difference when you are operating in this game. So again, as I was talking about earlier on with high, low ground, etc., also choke points, valleys, gullies, the arachnids are a swarm force. So if you can get them in a choke point and you can cut down their distinct advantage of numbers and their speed of ferocity of close quarters combat, then you will be in a very strong position to be able to easily take them out.
Roger that.
So it actually gives me an opportunity to show you the disband mechanic. So if you want to get rid of a unit on the field and replace it with something else, that is fine. You can do that at absolutely no cost. It actually replenishes the war cost back to you. So you are able to recoup that cost and put it into someone else. So you can bring in a dropship, like I said. This rifle trooper squad I just brought in, I'm going to get those guys to be sent back up to orbit. The resources will be refunded to me, and now I can bring in another engineering squad. So again, engineering squads are one of the many different types of soldier units you can get in the mobile infantry. They can do wonderful things like build these turrets. The turrets are, or utilize war support, which is basically the requisition we have in order to bring in extra gear, more interesting, more exotic weaponry, or in-place turrets in this case. Also, you saw that earlier on me building a support center. That support center, again, is one of the buildings you can build. It is a very rudimentary, basic base building system, but it works.
Get those MGs firing.
So the cool thing about engineers is that they are actually also flame troopers, and they excel in area denial, so they are extremely effective at holding a choke point. Although we have plenty of weight of firepower right now that's doing the job for us. If we didn't have as many guns, the flamethrowers would be doing absolute work to keep the arachnids at bay. So in order to make sure our rear flank is clear, we're going to go for the first bug hole over here.
Affirmative. Yes, sir.
And also, the other cool thing about the combat move and just the movement in general is that the troopers' range is known to the game itself, and as a result, it will try and bias those troopers to go in the optimal firing ranges. So, for example, the flame troops will be up front because they are the closest range, and they can hold up and harass the enemy whilst the gun squads do their business. Now, unfortunately, we've got a bit of a glitch here. Sometimes it happens. Again, this is a press review copy. It's a very early access copy, so obviously there are some known bugs. No pun intended. You'll see that these pips have appeared above the rifle troopers' heads, and this is basically their veterancy rank. So the more combat they engage in, the better they become, until you get the ability to choose an elite ability. So with 3 pips, an elite ability has come, and each squad or each variant of the mobile infantry's troopers will have a different special abilities that you can choose from. You can either choose the shotgun suppression, or the boom bundle in this instance. So I'm going to choose the shotgun suppression because I think it's quite useful.
Standing by.
Even though my micro is terrible.
Tell us what to do.
With me.
And these are different for every single boss
Roger
trooper
that.
you encounter.
Affirmative.
I should bring some reinforcements whilst I'm at it. As you can hear, the music is building up with in time to the time, which is great.
Sir. Yes, sir. Stash your tools and move out.
The bugs are here.
Yes,
Look
sir.
sharp, troopers.
Tell us what to do. Engineers, follow me.
It'd actually be lovely if the game had an ability for you to choose what a particular squad prioritized their fire on. That's one of the things that I would love them to be able to do, which they just don't at this point in time. So I could love to have some of my snipers just focus on the Spitterforms. So if a Spitterform came into range, you could tell them to prioritize that target. Unfortunately, it's not quite that granular with the control, so as a result, you kind of have to just, micro your way through it. So basically, after every mission, you'll then get the Fed Network's next broadcast, introducing what's going on.
Qualashans take great pride in their planet's mining industry. Through sweat of brow, valiant colonists dig up the precious minerals the Federation needs. It's an ore effort for the war effort, and they're not going to let a few bugs scare them off. The mobile infantry has begun escorting workers, many of them patriotic volunteers, back into the mines, so they can keep excavating the future of humanity.
I love those so much. Anyway, Terran Command is fabulous. It's fun. It's great. It's tactically deep. I love it. I haven't seen all the troops and units yet because obviously this is a preview copy. I want to say a massive thank you once again to Slitherine for the opportunity to take a look at this early. So early in actuality. I really, really appreciate that. This game is coming out on the 16th of June. It is available on Steam. Go and pre-order it. It is honestly worth it. If you don't want to pre-order it, just buy it on the day, you know? At the end of the day, this game is honestly solid. It's fun, enjoyable as heck, and I love it. I really do. It is Starship Troopers through and through. It's tactical RTS, which I just adore. Like, focus on combat. Really interesting and neat little mechanics going on there as well. My only critique, really, is that sometimes I'd like to be able to designate to my troops what I'd like them to do in regards to focusing on specific targets. Some troops are hard counters to others. And additionally, I'd actually like to be able to make my own formations as well. So as you saw during the gameplay, there are formations that the troops would take, but I cannot, for example, make my own formation. So sometimes I want to protect a VIP. Sometimes I've got slower units. Sometimes I want to just make sure that the combat engineers don't get too far ahead of the rest of the troopers. It'd be nice if I could have that granular control, but nonetheless, still a fantastic game. Love it. Great one. Thank you again, Slitherine. Thank you for watching this video. Guys, if you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more, the TLDR series is available on YouTube. The TLDR shorts available on TikTok. It's the kind of content I love to do. Hit that subscription button in the channel description down below. Hit the thumbs up as well if you'd be so kind. It really helps us out. And thank you so much for watching. Also, all of our social media is in the channel description down below as well. And I'm live on Twitch with these types of games and many others 4 days a week, Tuesday through Friday, 9 p.m. BST, 4 p.m. EST. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for taking the time. Terran Command. I'll see you next time, folks. Have a good one.